point of emphasis in terms of trying to win basketball games and do your job over the course of my career. It's been a physical development that's happened over time that obviously helps. A lot of work that's gone into that. But at the end of the day, from my rookie year to now, it's always been about effort and just a care factor. Overcoming physical limitations or with matchups or whatever it is. If you try hard, good things will happen, and you'll continue to get better. So it's always been a point of emphasis.
Howard on the
just
right.
better at it now.
Steph, the first time you guys won a championship, it was the strength in numbers team, but you had a lot of Clay scoring back then, and then the next couple you had Clay and Durant here. Does this one feel a little bit different so far? Do you feel like you're carrying more of kind of a scoring load than you're used to at this stage?
I think it's different just because of the way the team's constructed. There's always and guard us as a team and be able to counter that when as you compare it to years past, with the depth that we had, with the heavy loading of scoring that me, KD, Clay had, obviously it looks a little different, but and the game flows a little different, but I think this year there's definitely a need for me to be aggressive throughout the game, to create, draw attention, get shots up, and you just continue to apply pressure. Obviously, these first two games, it's going well. I don't know what it'll look like on the road. The rest of the series, it's just always about being confident with the ball in my hands and make plays.
Next one in the back.
Robert Littell, BSO, right here, Steph. What was it like seeing Jordan Poole hit that shot, that three at the end of the third quarter? He had been struggling. The whole team celebrated. It seemed like that gave you guys a real boost going into the fourth.
Well, it's kind of funny. We talk about how we finish quarters and how that momentum can carry over. So that was obviously a big shot to get the crowd into it. Put a kind of a dagger on that great third quarter that we had. I think he was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more under control tonight. It didn't go his way much early, but then he had that flurry. I think he had the 2 threes in the last 2 minutes of that third quarter. So just continue to find rhythm. He's capable of do that. We shoot half-court shots every practice, shoot around, and we have a little competition going. So we count. If you make one during the game, we count it. So he took the lead tonight.
Next question on the left.
Steph, Draymond was talking about how you were patient to start the game, and then obviously you took over in the third quarter. Does your finals experience and all the playoff games you played, would you say you're better at kind of sensing those moments and when to step off the gas and when to go, et cetera?
Yeah, that's an accumulation of the last 2 years of trying to figure that out and balance. Kind of to a question earlier of the scoring load, the playmaking load, and everything that you try to accomplish throughout the game. So I try to be under control, composed, see the game, feel the flow and the rhythm, and know where I can get to my spots. And there's definitely a lot of composure there, and based on the experience of 15 to 19 and these last 2 years.
Anthony?
Yeah, Al Horford doesn't even get up a three tonight. Marcus Smart, I just think, went 0 of 3. What do you think you guys did much better defensively to shut off some of those holes?
Just a level of focus to start the game. We look back at game 1, and there were, between Marcus, Al Horford, and Derek White, there were maybe 4 or 5 shots that they got in the first half that were just uncontested, and they're professionals. They play this game just like we do. And you understand if the shoe's on the other foot and we're getting those type of shots, that carries over through the rest of the game, and you start searching a little bit more, you start feeling a little bit more comfortable. So for us to come out in the first quarter with a level of intensity and focus to obviously with Jalen and Jason, what they do with the ball in their hands, they're tough covers, so you have to keep it's more obvious what you need to do on those guys, but then certain possessions we kept the body on Al, try to force Marcus into a crowd, and I think that carried over the rest of the game. So we have to continue to try to do that because they're liable to get hot at any moment.
Next one in the middle.
Hey, Steph, what's the work that you do during both the summer and the season that enables you not just to keep your conditioning sharp, but also to be able to be constantly running around when you're on the court?
I've always had that since high school, but again, it's not like one thing you do in the summer. It's an accumulation of every year, all the work that you put in that continues to show itself throughout your career, throughout the season, playoffs, and every year that I get an opportunity to play on this level. So I do pride myself on trying to be, the hardest worker, the most consistent worker. Maybe the last 2 or 3 years, you work a lot smarter than harder, just a little bit more often, especially in the off season. But that's that old saying, like what you do in the summer shows up, at moments like these. So doing my job.
In the middle.
Steph, 2 questions. One, Draymond as well as anyone. He said tonight he needed to send a message to you guys about holding himself accountable, bringing the energy and attitude. When did you know tonight was going to be like extra amped, Draymond?
About 5 minutes after game 1. That's all I needed to see and hear from him, just in terms of what he knew he needed to do. And I think we talk about it. Some of that stuff doesn't necessarily or doesn't always show up in the stat sheet in terms of points, rebounds, assists, just that wow factor. But you feel him in his presence, and the other team feels him in his presence and his intensity, and that is contagious for all of us. So it was great to see.
Last couple of questions, Tim and then
Steph,
Bob.
you guys always run the high pick and roll, but it seemed like even heavier doses of that. Was that just because you had it going a little bit and you were feeling good at that spot, or was it called more? What was the kind of going heavy pick and roll there?
Just feel and matchups, and you understand how this series is going to continue to go. There are going to be a lot of adjustments, different looks, but if I can get in those, kind of one-on-one matchups and be able to play make out of that and read the defense well, we can create a lot of good shots. And thankfully, it was those type of possessions. Either we got a good shot or the ball started moving and we weren't turning the ball over, which helped our offense kind of settle in a little bit. And then when we have good offense and good shots, that helps our defense a lot. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the series, but it's been working.
Stole my question about Draymond's intensity, but how much did having him on Brown more tonight sort of trickle down to the rest of the defense? How much did that have a ripple effect on the way you guys play defense?
Then you could have put Draymond on Coach Udoka, and it would have been a different ball game from yesterday, just based on the way he approached the game. So matchups are matchups, but everybody has to bring the right intensity, and Draymond did that from the jump.
Thanks, Steph.